Okay, so mom, this is really hard for me to say, but I really don't like the way that you're trying to make my decisions for me, it makes me second guess everything I'm doing. And I'm 37 years old. I have kids of my own. So please, if you would just respect me and respect my choices in life. Oh my God. You're so sensitive. What I say wrong, what I do wrong. Oh my God, my daughter talked back to me. Oh my God, what I do wrong as a mom. I just work so hard to get us here and I provide everything for you. And you don't appreciate me. So that was taken not from real life events or real conversations at all. You just need a little humor because, you need some humor to get through this Asian American parenting trauma stuff. So I'm here to talk about bringing awareness to how Asian American parenting is flawed, and immigrant parents, or even if their parents were immigrants and they were raised here, some of the things that were passed down are just really hard for kids to be raised in that environment. So I want to talk about, first off, respecting your elders. Having your own choices in life equals disrespect for your elders, and that's just 100% BS and not true. For some reason in Chinese culture, if you have your own ideas and your own dreams and you follow those, a lot of times, and your parents know better and they have other plans for you, or they think that having a stable job will bring you happiness, when you know something else will, like i.e. pursuing your passions and art or anything else, and they will impose their ideals onto you. And if you don't follow those and get a higher education or go into a more lucrative field, then you might be shunned because you are not respecting them. And I just want to say, that's just not true. And if we can kind of get clear about that in our own minds first, and just know that this is our life, we get to make those decisions, and they were able to make their own decisions in life, and maybe they weren't, but now we're in a different culture. We're Asian Americans. We're not totally Chinese. We're not totally Japanese. We're not, totally raised in that culture and environment. And so we're going to be thinking differently than them, and that's perfectly okay. And the conflict is when they start telling us what to do, when we know inside, we know ourselves better than anyone. So we know inside that we want to do something else. Like, for example, be a musician, be a painter, be an inventor, or something that's a little more abstract. And, something that you kind of carve out your own path. That seems kind of risky and dangerous and things like that. But in a way, what they did coming here was risky and dangerous, and everybody is doing risky and taking risks all the time. So it's just about what makes you happy, what fills your cup, and it's about there's this one author, I forget her name, but who it is, but there was just like, you're gonna eat she swears, like, poop sandwich. It's just about picking the kind of poop sandwich that you want to eat. So it's like, yeah, just picking a certain kind of, like, if you're a writer, you're gonna go through a lot of poop. And then if you are an actor, you're gonna go through a lot of that. If you're a doctor, you're gonna have to go through a whole array of challenges there too. So it's just about picking and choosing, and with your passion, you're more willing to go through all of that stuff. So I just want to encourage you to get clear about, okay, this is actually my stuff, and this is not their responsibility to choose what my career is, to choose who I marry, to choose how I raise my kids. And so getting clear about that and then expressing to them, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm just making my own decisions and doing what's right for me and my family. And it's hard when you're raising your, like leading your family and a new parent and trying to kind of feel that out. At the same time, you have to kind of create these boundaries with your parents and educate them on the way that you are now and how they were, and educate them that, you're not being disrespectful. It's just, you need this space and you need their support. And even if they don't give you their support, which would be awesome if they did, you're still going to have to do it your way, because you're going to regret it. And you're going to look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have done it that way. And then you might start blaming them. And there's this unspoken resentment if there's not a clear boundary there. So I think it's really important to set boundaries. I'm still working on that myself. And I am working with a coach with that. So I'm really excited about that. And I think it's great to get therapy or coaching, so that you have someone to kind of guide you through these really difficult things, especially when your parents kind of have a hold on who you are, and like, they want to, at least, but that feels just wrong and it's not for you, but that's just how it has been this whole time. So getting clear about that first in your head is really important. And then another thing is that Asian parents really like to compare. They like to compare whose kids are doing better, whose like home is bigger, who's making more money, like all these things. And that's not totally productive and it's not healthy. So just know that if you have these tendencies and you hear them coming up, you can reparent yourself, meaning you can start to talk to yourself kindly. And instead of, putting yourself down or hearing their voice, which there's a good thing that Asians are humble, but sometimes it's too humble, and they turn down compliments, they don't acknowledge their accomplishments, they're not confident, they don't appear confident when they talk, because they're just putting themselves down, and just even like self-deprecating humor, all that stuff. I mean, that's great, but if it happens all the time and in professional settings, then people might lose confidence in you. So it's really important to know what skills and know what value you bring to the world. And that comes along with knowing what your passions are too, and knowing what God has put you on this earth to do, because that is really important to honor that. What we were put here on earth to do is very different than what our parents were put here to do. And they don't understand our mission or our calling. And it is up to us to protect that from them. At least protect it in a way that they're not able to bring us down. When in terms of you lose confidence in yourself, or you lose confidence in what God has already told you. So it's really important to reparent yourself in the way that you are your biggest cheerleader. You are, when you hear, these harsh criticisms come up in your mind, or doubts, then you start to realize that it's not coming from you, and that you are doing a great job, and what you want to pursue is worthy of your attention and your efforts, no matter what anyone says, especially your parents, because they have different agendas. I mean, they want the best for you, but the way they go about it, one, they don't understand really what your calling is, but the way they go about it sometimes is not, it's counterproductive because that's just what they know. Oh, baby. And another thing that this reminds me of a little baby, just like physical affection isn't big in Asian cultures, and they didn't really grow up praising or just holding a lot, like hugging, kissing, like all those things. So I think it's really important to find what works for you and what works for your family. If you're not like really into physical affection, then that's fine too. But I think children really thrive on knowing that they're securely loved and that there's nothing wrong with them. And the way that Asian parents bring up their kids, and this is really changing with the generations and the mixture of cultures of the American and Asian cultures, is that we're really nurturing our kids and bringing out the best in them in the way that they feel confident in themselves, and we don't have to put them down to make them better. And I think that was a lot of the culture in Asian cultures, is that you don't want to get a big head. You don't want your kids to get a big head. You don't want them to suffer because the world will put them down. So you have to do that. But that doesn't necessarily breed a lot of confidence or self-love. And I think it really is the voice that I have in my head a lot of times is like, I'm like, is that my voice or is that my mom's voice talking to me? Or I have to kind of separate that, and it defaults a lot of times to a really critical voice. And I don't really want that for my kids. So, so we get to change the way that things are done. We get to be cycle breakers, and I just commend you for doing that. And I just want to say God bless you for your journey and honoring what's true to you. And just keep doing that. Keep being true to yourself and what God has put you on this earth to do. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. And I hope you'll subscribe for more inspiring content. I just want to encourage and hopefully bring some insight to your struggles, because we all go through very similar struggles, and we don't have to compete. We can actually really enhance each other. So God bless you and have a beautiful, beautiful day.